You're not wrong.
I know. It's like me trying to make me much wrong.
All right. Any questions on the worksheet before we grade it?
I don't know if I have questions.
I think I did it right. I don't know exactly.
Did you lose it?
I lost my paper. I'll redo it on a spare piece of paper. What I always do if I leave mine.
All right. I'm being lazy because I don't have mine out. All right. Let's go over this real quick. Woe unto you. Listen, please. Woe unto you that miss questions 1 through 6.
Huh?
Woe unto you for those that miss questions 1 through 6.
1, 2, 6.
That's why I said woe unto you.
Oh, okay.
Because clearly you don't know what's going on. Chris, I believe you got everyone correct 1 through 6. Prove me right.
It's a lot of questions.
Number 1, the answer is
It's the 1 over 2 is
a little bit faster, buddy.
Yeah.
I'll stop you when you're wrong.
y over so, and then the second one is negative 5 over 6.
Oh, I need slope and y-intercept.
Oh, okay. So number 1 is y equals negative 5.
Slope is a half, y-intercept is negative 5. Now, fast.
Okay, number 2 is negative over 5 over 6, and then y equals 0.
Y-intercept 0. Go.
Negative 1 is the slope, and negative 5 equals y. Is the and then
Aren't you a runner, or is that just Aiden?
Oh, he's fast. He's a bit faster than me.
Talk as fast as you can run, please. Go.
Okay. Number 4 is I wanted to say undefined.
No. Y equals k is a horizontal line. The slope is 0.
Oh, okay.
So you got one wrong.
Then I'm probably better.
What's the y-intercept?
Oh, yeah. I didn't actually write that down for some reason. And
Number 4. What's the y-intercept?
Oh, we're on 4.
it's y equals 0.
What?
6.
6, right? I'm sorry. That's because it's right there. So,
Number 5.
I didn't write that down.
Slope of 1, y-intercept of negative 4. Number 6.
I did. I
Just look at it. You can do it quickly.
1
Go.
over 3 is the slope.
Keep talking.
And then the y-intercept was y negative 1.
Look at it.
Y1, y equals 1.
Okay, y equals 1. All right. Number 7. The equation should be y equals negative 1/2 x plus 1. Number 8. Y equals 3 over 2x plus 3. Number 9. You got this one. 1 over 3. Y equals 1/3 x plus 3. Number 10, y equals negative 2. Number 11, y equals 5. Number 12, y equals negative x minus 1. Number 13, y equals, oh, this is a hard one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, y equals 4 over 5x. Anybody put plus 0? Lots of, it's fine, but we just wouldn't put plus 0. And the last one, it's a vertical line, x equals 1. One wrong. This one. Okay. Slope. Just put the y-intercept. All right. Yesterday was a very easy class. Today is not a hard or challenging class, but it's definitely more challenging than what, and a lot more challenging than yesterday. And by a lot more, it just depends on what you thought was challenging. You thought yesterday was 0 challenge. Today's going to be like a 1 or a 2. If yesterday you thought it was medium, then this is going to be a hard day. Okay, but I think for most of you, you're going to find out that today is an equally easy class. There's only one thing that will be challenging, and I will make sure I point it out to you. Hey, Rowan, come on. We had 2 good days. Let's have a 3rd day. Looking at our schedule, we'll have a new day today, new stuff tomorrow. Then we'll do a review. Then we'll take our quiz. I'll teach you about scatter plots. We finish up the chapter, take chapter test. All right, homework is another worksheet. What do you know? No, I got to teach you. You do not know how to do this. What? Without using a graph, What's the line that goes through those 2 points without using a graph? Without using a graph.
It's like this.
Yeah, but what's the equation of the line?
3.345.
You could calculate the slope very easy, but how do you come up with the equation? Thank you. The equation of the line. All right.
Formula.
Yes,
I'm so smart.
but that's for slope. That just calculates the slope. That doesn't tell us what the y-intercept is. All right.
That's what this class is for.
You got it.
Yay!
All right, here we go. So this is the second part of slope-intercept form. All right. Quick review. We've been talking about these things called linear equations. Linear equations are equations that have 2 variables and x's to the first power. This is how we started off this chapter. It looked like this. And I told you further that this was what's called standard form. Standard form is when you have the x and the y on one side, the constant on the other side, and all the coefficients and the constant are integers, positive, negative. Also, the integer for the x or the y could be 0, but not both of them. That's how we get our horizontal and vertical line. Okay, standard form. We have been studying yesterday this thing called slope. So the second form, there's 3 of these, slope-intercept form. In slope-intercept form, the Hanna equation is y equals mx plus b. Okay, where m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. That's what we did yesterday. We found out this is ridiculously easy to do. We found out that I gave you a line and you wrote the equation. And since no one had a single question, that either means everyone blew off the homework or it was really that easy. And since I looked at least one, I know that at least one person did their homework. All right. Recall, y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form, standard form. We can turn standard form into slope-intercept form easily using a little bit of algebra. Move the x to the other side, in other words, subtract 4x, and then divide everything by 2. So we get y is equal to negative 2x plus 3. I can turn standard form into slope-intercept form very easily. Just use a little bit of algebra. Okay, great. Last night for homework, I gave you a picture of a graph, and I said, write the equation. Porter, what was step 1? Oh, there it is right there. Step 2. In order to do that, we need how many points? Rowan's giving me the dose symbol. I find a second point. Now, the only way you screw this up is if you pick a point, look what I just circled, that doesn't cross a lattice point. I don't know what that point is. I mean, it does cross there. I just don't know what it is because it's kind of in the middle-ish. So we need to pick a lattice point. So if the slope was -1, I'm sorry, the y-intercept was -1, we need to pick a lattice point that the line crosses and then calculate slope. Looks like it's up 1, 2, over 4, 2 fourths reduces to 1/2. Now we can write our equation. This is what you did last night for homework. Not a big deal. Okay. Today, I don't give you a graph. All I give you are the 2 points and say, write the equation. So today, it is new. I don't know if that's true. Some of you are going to catch this after the first example, and you're like, why does he keep saying it's challenging? It's not. Well, for some people, this is challenging. So if you pay attention, you'll get this. If you don't, it is challenging. So I'm going to give you 2 points and ask you to write the equation. You ready?
Maybe.
I'm going to show you the procedure. Okay. It's got a bunch of steps, but none of them are that hard. Okay. So your job right now is just watch me work through one. Here we go. Rylan, what did you say? You thought the first thing we would do would be?
Put them into the formula.
No, your first thought, which was the correct thought.
Oh,
If I give you 2 points, you can always calculate.
slope.
I can always calculate the slope if I give you 2 points. Homework, what, 3 nights ago? I gave you 2 points. That thing right there. So I'm going to give you 2 points. The first thing you're going to do is calculate the slope. So step number 1 was label, right? Y2, I'm sorry, X1, X1, Y1, I almost screwed it up. X2, Y2, calculate the slope. And remember, it doesn't matter which one is first point, second point. If you want to make this one X1, Y1, and that one X2, Y2, you can. Some kids will like tell me, oh, it's way smarter to do it this way. There's less negatives involved. Okay, go on with your bad self. All right, I'm just going to do this one. I also do this one because it's a pattern. If you set it up like this, the pattern is this over that. Okay. So for me, it just keeps me from making more mistakes. So that's going to be -8 minus 1 over 5 minus 2. Stop me if you're lost on what I just did. Like I said, if I always have it set this way, then the pattern is that over that with a minus sign in between. Now, when things are negative, you can sometimes get double negatives, right? But you guys have already had that homework, and you should be pros at that. Okay, -8 minus 1 is? And 5 minus 2 is?
3.
So we get -9 over 3, which reduces to?
3 over 1.
-3 over 1, which is just plain on -3. Okay, so slope is -3. We're halfway there. Okay, all right. This one will cause some errors, so we can, it's not as easy as yesterday.
Excuse me?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you have Haley Miller come to the office for a moment?
She's on her way.
Thank you.
So it's not as easy as yesterday, but it's not very challenging. It's something we did. Kaylee, yes, no?
So.
Slope, okay. The y-intercept, okay, this is the brand new stuff. You've never done it before. All right, you ready? Here we go. It turns out to calculate the b, which is all we need now, it's done this way. We rewrite y equals mx plus b over here, scratch work. So I don't know what you want to call it, step number 26 or step number 1, but to find b, we rewrite y equals mx plus b, and we pick a point. It doesn't matter which one you pick. Chris, pick one.
8.
What? Pick a point.
-8. Oh, 5 and -8.
Okay, so he wants to pick this one. A thinking person would probably pick the one that's doesn't have negatives and the smallest numbers. But there's nothing wrong with 5, -8. It will get you the same answer. Okay, but if you want to make your life easier, pick the smallest numbers and the ones that don't have negatives. Sometimes there's always negatives. You can't get around it. If we pick negatives, it just, we got negatives floating around. I'm going to pick this one. Okay, I'm going to plug this into this where I see a y and an x. But here's the problem. What does this say? What does that say?
X.
What's that say?
X.
It's opposite. So if you're not careful, you can flip-flop the numbers. Kayla, you with me?
No.
What's that say? What's this say? No, it says x, y. Why is that a problem? This says y, x. What's this say? So why is that a problem? Because you can, if you're not careful, you'll flip-flop these things. So all I'm going to do is take the x and the y and plug them in. What's this thing say? We just solved for m. It's -3. So what am I going to do? I'm going to pick one point, throw it in for the x and the y, along with the slope. You see what I did? How many variables are left?
1.
I can solve for it. I got rid of all the variables but one, and it's b. It's what I need, the y-intercept. -3 times 2. -3 times 2. What do we do to both sides? Therefore, we get,
7.
therefore, the y-intercept is 7. Last night for homework, I gave you this, and I said, write the equation. Aiden, you remember what you did?
Yeah.
What'd you write?
Location.
So what did you write if I gave you it looked like that?
Throw it. Wow. Yeah.
Just plug this into this, and that's your equation. So do it.
Yeah. Oh, y equals m -3x plus 7.
Perfect. Good job. Good
I
job.
forgot that. That was
Oh, you remembered it now.
I'm proud of you, Aiden.
We need to do this a few times for it to sink in. Okay? All right. That was box number 2, but I really didn't want you guys to do it with me. Let's do box number, the real box number 2 together. All right.
Can I do this one?
Now, we're all going to do it. So grab your pencils, Caleb. Let's do this together. Step number 1, when I give you 2 points, you're going to calculate the slope.
Slow.
That means you're going to label first. Okay? I don't know if you want to follow my pattern, but I always go x1, y1, x2, y2. If you're like, wait a minute, these numbers are smaller, I want that to be my first point, you will still get the same answer. But you should label. I don't know if you want to write the formula so you can look at it, or maybe you write it once on the top of your paper so you look at it, but please at least once write it and look at it. If you try to do it off the top of your head, by Algebra 2, you'll be doing it. You have done it so hundreds of times by then, it'll be committed to memory. But first time in Algebra 1, well, some of you are saying this is your second year doing it, so you should have it memorized. All right. The pattern, if you do it like mine, is that over that. -3 minus -2 over 1 minus 3. Two negatives turn into, so this is -3 plus 2, which is -1, and 1 minus 3 is -2. Negative divided by negative is a positive, so we get a half. Slope is a half. This becomes a little unfriendly when you get a fraction, just a little bit. When you get a whole number, it's a very easy process. When you get a fraction, sometimes this becomes ugly. So my slope or m value is already a half. Hey, I can already write y equals 1/2 x and solve for b over there if you wanted to. You're going to stop me if you're lost. Sierra? Okay. Nathan? Good. All right. Now we're going to solve for b. Solving for b requires you to pick one of those points. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Hey, they both have a negative running around. Okay, this one has smaller numbers, 1 and a 3, but it really doesn't matter, right? I'm going to pick that one only because I just didn't change it from the previous slide. You might pick this one. You'll see we'll get the same number. You can screw this up because this one goes x, y, and this one goes y, x. You just got to make sure you put the right number in the right spot. Y for this point is -2. So I write -2 equals, slope was a half, m is a half, and x is a -2. Why did I say x when I meant y? Right? Y is a -2. Sorry about that. Who's lost? I did say that backwards, but I just corrected myself. Okay. 3 times a half. 3 times a half? 3 over 2? What do we got to do? We got to subtract 3 halves from both sides. Like I said, when there's a fraction, it will become ugly. Scratch work over here. So I need to take a -2 over 1, and I need to subtract 3 over 2. If I subtract 3 halves from both sides. Common denominator is
7.
Hopefully not 7.
2.
It's 2, right? So what do we got to multiply this by?
2.
So that's going to give me a -4 over 2.
That's
-4 minus 3.
Is
minus 1.
7.
D8.
-4 minus 3 is -7. Get -7 over 2. Fractions are not your friend.
I like this.
But it is b. Yes. So when you have an equation and you don't have any space below it, you can't put equals. Equations don't equal something, right? So this means this equation turns into this equation. Almost, when I never go from left to right. I only go up and down, right? That is the easiest way to do math, to keep it nice and straight and understand. As soon as you go from left to right, you better have arrows instead of equal signs. Otherwise, you can't tell where your equation starts and finishes. Okay. Now this one was a more challenging one. It's easy when this is a whole number. We'll get a whole or an integer. We'll get another integer as an answer. But on this particular one, now we have our slope. Now we have our y-intercept. Okay, it's ugly, but it's no big deal to throw these two numbers into y equals mx plus b. Do it. No, just look at it and do it.
Oh, okay.
No, tell me the answer.
Oh, okay. Y equals 1/2 x plus -7.5.
And we probably would say that's perfectly right. We would probably say 1/2 x minus 7 halves. Okay. I would not mark him wrong for saying plus -7 halves. They will get no more challenging than this one right here. most of the time, we're not going to get a fraction. We're going to get a whole number, and your life is a little bit easier. Okay? Or if we get a fraction, when you do this multiplication, sometimes the fraction goes away. Is anybody like truly lost? Okay. This is not a memorable thing to do. Like we'll do it today. You'll do it tonight for homework. We'll get to quiz or test day. You're like, wait, what did we do on that one? I forgot how to get B. Okay. So make sure, and I'll remind you when we get to review day, that when we review before the test, that this exam, maybe not this one, but another one, is in your on your resource card to find B. All right, a more easier one. Box 3. Box 3. Haley, you were gone for half of that. You okay or no? All right, so Haley, let's do this one together. Let's calculate slope. Step number 1, the slope is to label x1, y1, x2, y2. You don't have to write this every single time, but I would have it written at least one time on your paper, and then you look at it. All right, plug in the numbers, Haley.
10 minus -6.
Perfect. Over.
-3.
-1. Okay. Remember, there's always this one minus sign right here. Okay, 2 negatives. So 10 plus 6
16.
over.
-2.
Same or different signs?
Same.
That doesn't mean subtract, that means add.
4. -4.
What's 16 divided by -4?
-4.
Life is easier. Now we got a slope that's a whole or integer, sorry. We got a -4. Okay. Which number, which point do you like, Haley? And by the way, it will work. You will get the same answer no matter which one you pick.
1.
Those are smaller numbers, so let's pick that one. Okay. The only issue with this is this one goes x, y, but the equation says you just got to be careful. Guaranteed. I say this, there will be someone here that makes that, probably more than one that makes that mistake. All right, tell me what to write. I'm going to take these values, plug it into the formula with the slope. Just read it from left to right. When you come to something, plug the right thing in.
-6 equals
1. M is slope.
Oh, -4x.
X is
-4 times 1 plus
B. B will be the thing that we don't know. Okay. -4 times 1.
-4.
That was easy. Now what to both sides?
Or add 4.
What's 4 plus -6?
-2.
We got the slope. We got the y-intercept. Tell me the equation.
Y equals -4x plus, or -4x minus 6.
Yes?
No.
What?
I'm just saying no.
But I mean, yes?
No.
What part?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. Haley, yes, no? Can't read your face. Okay. You have a no face on though. And I got a yes face. All right. Don't be hiding in the shadows here. Piper, yes, no? Okay. Now, can you get lost in the actual math? Oh, absolutely. Right? I mean, if you literally do some bad math, but if you understand the process, we are in a good position. Right? My belief is, I mean, we're making fewer and fewer mistakes as we move along. Right? Sophia, yes or no? All right. Don't say that though if you truly mean no, though, right? I mean, I trust all of you until test day, right? You can always say yes, and I will stop asking you questions, but you're not doing yourselves any favors.
You don't trust us?
Yeah, I got it right here. And somebody was supposed to remind me yesterday.
Wait,
They
what
didn't
was
do it.
homework?
That was supposed to be Josie.
All right. One more?
No.
All right, let's do one more. I will give you a 30-second head start. See if you can beat me to the answer.
I already got the answer. It's 5.
It's not 5.
Yikes.
It's y equals mx plus b with the right numbers in. And if you do have it, don't yell it out. Are you gonna do this?
Yes.
Okay. This isn't the only thing. We got one more thing after this.
Someday.
Part of the answer was
All right, let's see. Step number one, we gotta find the slope. To find the slope, we label 0.1, 0.2, x1, y1, x2, y2. We calculate the slope. I like my pattern for slope because it always goes like this. If I label them like that, if I don't label them like that, it's a different pattern. It's going to be -1 minus 4 over 2 minus 3. Okay? Two negatives turn into positive. I get -5 over 5. -5 over 5 turns into -1. Hey, the slope's -1. Boom. To find your b value, we pick one of these points. And it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. 2, -1 would be probably the best choice because the numbers are smaller, but 3, -3, 4, it'll still work. We'll still get the same answer. Now, if you chose 2, -1, do it with that one. I'm going to do it with not because it's a smarter choice, it's because I'm lazy. And if you notice, every single time I just didn't want to change my slide. I just picked the one on the left. If I were really doing this for real, I probably would have picked 2, -1. All right, I'm going to plug the numbers in, realizing that the label goes xy, but the equation goes yx. So I need 4, that's the y, is equal to the slope -1 times -3 plus b. Two negatives turn to a positive. 1 times 3 is 3. Kaylee. So here, I picked one point, yes? What does it say, xy or yx? What it does. And what does this say, though? It says the opposite. So I need y. Now look at what I circled. What one is y? Okay. Look at m. What did we calculate m to be? And I need x, and x is -3. -1 times -3 is +3. Subtract 3 from both sides, and we get 1. So I got a y-intercept of 1. Is anyone confused on the fact that this says b, and this says y-intercept, this says slope, and this says m? And I had this conversation with a couple of you. If this is confusing, then just change this to b and change this to m, right? The only issue with that is sometimes you might get confused. Oh, wait, is the m the slope or is it the b? Okay. All right, we plug those two numbers in. Y is equal to slope -1. So -x plus 1, and we're done. Who beat me?
I did.
Okay. You feel confident? Rylan? Confident?
Yes.
Okay. I said we're going to do two things today. We just finished the one, and that was the most challenging thing. The second one is, oh boy, is it simple. All right, here we go. It is new. You haven't done this before. At least the ones that I have taught, you've not done this before. Okay. Standard form. If I asked you last year to graph this, I would ask you to pick points. Let x be 0, let y be 0, calculate that one. And this works every single time. This is called finding the intercepts. And then plotting the 2 points, playing connect the dots. It turns out that if it is not in standard form, but if it's in y equals point slope form, a slope intercept form, if it's y equals mx of b, the graphing process takes 5 seconds.
You're lying.
I can do it in 2 seconds. I say, if I'm given a graph, it's 2 seconds.
Yeah, I have my paper right
Well,
here.
tell me when to start.
Now. 1, 2, 3. I didn't count 3.
All right. I'm just saying the process that I'm about to teach you is very quickly done. And it's not challenging at all. And usually, like I said, the only issue I get is, why didn't you show me this last year type thing? It's because you got to know how to do table of pain first. You got to understand why this works. All right, so big picture here. I'm going to give you an equation that's in slope intercept form. You're going to graph it. You can kind of see what's in front of you right now. All right, So graphing things that are in slope-intercept form. Well, it's so easy. You saw me do it in 2 seconds, 3 seconds, okay? It is very, very, very simple. All right, super easy. However, it only works if it is in slope-intercept form. Okay, if it's in standard form or point slope form, you got to use a different technique. Okay, all right. So here's how it works. I'm going to give you an equation that's in slope-intercept form. I'm going to give you a graph. At least today, tonight for homework, you won't be given a graph, but you use graph paper. You need to turn this into the visual line. Remember before, we took -1, 0, 1, we did some math, and it was 5 minutes. This is 2 to 3 seconds. Here's how it's done. Luckily for us, this equation is in what form?
Multiples of 2.
What form? Slope-intercept form. Well, that literally means that's the slope and that's the y-intercept. What's a y-intercept? Where it crosses the y-axis. So I already have 1 point where it crosses the y-axis. Now you do have to remember which one is the y-axis. This is your y-axis.
It's horizontal.
It's vertical.
Vertical.
So I put a dot on 1.
And it's 2x, the horizontal.
Hold on. Let's just make sure everybody digests that first. So you put a dot on the y-intercept. You will always have a dot somewhere on the y-axis. Okay? It's called the slope-intercept form. So now let's use the slope. Okay. Now, this is going to take us longer than 5 seconds because we're thinking it through. But once you get the hang of this, for you guys, it's going to be 5 to 10 seconds. This is the slope. Hey, what were the words that I used to describe slope? And don't say steepness. I said rise over run. That's a fraction. 2's not a fraction, but you can write 2 as a fraction. If slope is rise over run, how do you write 2 as a fraction? Well, the slope is rise 2, run 1 from any point on the graph or any point on the line. This is the y-intercept. It's on the line somewhere. There's some line that goes through here. So all I got to do is apply this slope to this dot. Chris, what does it say to do? I go up 2 and then
Down.
no.
No, over 1.
And I put a second dot. Up 2 over 1, put a dot. How many points define a line?
3. 1.
2. How many points do I have?
2.
Play connect dots and you're done. Now I'm going to require you for today to do 4 points.
Why?
It's not going to be another minute. It's going to be another 5 seconds. Watch. Okay. So watch what I do. So from the y-intercept, I went up 2 over 1. I got 2 points. How would I make another point?
Go up 2.
Go up 2 over 1, make another point. Okay, now you got to think this through. What if we went in the other direction?
It'd be down 2 and then over 1.
So from this point, I could either go up 2 over 1 or,
Down 2 over 1.
and that's because 2 over 1 is the same as -2 over -1. So instead of going up 2, I go down 2 over 1, and I can get a 4th point. Now, most math teachers have you do this. Why? It's just so you're comfortable. Reality is you just need 2 points. On any test or quiz that I give me 2 points. I won't complain. Tonight for homework, I want you to get in the habit, though, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and then go in the opposite direction. By the way, if you go down 2 over 1 from that point, you make a new point. You get back to that point. So when you do the down 2 over 1, go back to the original point. This one right here. Okay? All right. That's the basic idea. Oh, play connect the dots and put arrows because it's a line. One more time.
30 over 4.
What's the y-intercept?
4.
I put a dot on 4. What's the slope?
3.
It doesn't say 3.
-3.
-3 over 1. So what do we do from this point?
Up 3 over 1. No, down 3 over 1.
Down 3, 1, 2, 3, and then
Over 1.
put a dot. How many points do I need to make a line? Well, in reality, how many points do I need to make a line? We're done. But I would like you to do it one more time in that direction. So do it one more time. Down 3, 1, 2, 3 over 1. You don't have to put these arrows. I'm just showing you. But if we went in the other direction, it would be up 3 and left 1. Because the opposite of -3 is 3. The opposite of 1 is -1. This is still -3. We just do it in the opposite direction. There you go. Done. All right, real time. Like, I will not do it fast. I will do it at your speed. You gonna count? You tell me to start. You count silently. Tell me when to start. Let's see. The y-intercept is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The slope is -3. I got to write as a fraction over 1, so I go down 1, 2, 3 over 1.
No, you didn't do our homework time. You didn't do our homework time.
How many? So it will take you 10 seconds on a test to do this. No, I didn't say homework. I'm just saying, don't panic that I'm making you do 4 dots. It's not going to take you an extra 2 minutes. I did the first one in 10 seconds. You will get it done in 20 seconds, maybe. All right. Yep, that's it. Let's do one. Box number, what are we on, Kristen?
We are number 4.
Box 4,
5,
let's do it.
sorry.
5? All right, let's do box 5. Here we go. Oh, by the way, this is the one time in math when you're actually happy if you get a fraction, because it already tells you rise over run. It's like the only time you'll be happy. Oh, a fraction, good deal. Hey, what's the y-intercept?
1.
Put a dot on +1. The kids that make a mistake, I should see pencils moving. Oh, nice. The kids that make a mistake, guess where they put the dot? They put it on the X instead of the Y. Just be careful. What's the slope here? Up 2 over 3. So up 2 over 3. I said how many times we're going to do this? No. One more time, and then in the opposite direction, that would be. That's perfect. Yeah, I mean, some kids will fill the whole thing. Right? That's fine. Instead of going up 2 over 3, I'm going to go down 2 over 3. Because the opposite of 2 is, the opposite of 3 is, that's where I'm getting that from. Chris, did you do this? Got it?
Yeah, it takes steps to the word.
Piper? But you understand? Okay. So from here, I would go down 2 over 3. Now be careful. I keep saying up and down, and then I use the word not left and right. I'm using the word over. I meant over whether it's to the right 3 or to the left 3. So if I wanted to be more precise, down to left 3, up to right 3. Yeah, we all get lazy. We start saying over. As long as we all understand what over means, we're okay. Over doesn't mean always to the right. This might have meant go to the left 3. Who's lost? We did 2 things today. Okay. First one was a bit more challenging. Some of you probably already forgotten it. Hopefully you have it written on your piece of paper. Calculate the slope, find b, take both those values, throw it into y equals mx b. The second thing is to graph. It's the easiest, right? There's nothing challenging about this. Yeah, I'm about to. This is the last slide, right?
There's 3 more.
There's 3. We got to talk about horizontal vertical lines. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. The y-intercept is -8. Now, occasionally, depending upon where the y-intercept is, you run out of space. This is also why it's important to know you can go in either direction as long as you know what to do to the slope. If we want to go up, this would be up 4, right 1, up 4, right 1. If we wanted to go down, notice there's no squares. I can't go down 4. So maybe put another one on the top here. There's my 4 dots. And I'm going to make a last point here. I don't need 4 dots, 4 points. I only need 2. We do 4, well, for practice to extend the line. You guys remember solving system of equations last year? We graphed 2 lines. We found where the 2 lines intersect. This is also why we do multiple points, so you can be comfortable with that process. We will be doing that this year as well, too. All right. Remember, if the slope is negative, where does the negative go? Yeah, but where does the negative go, on the 2 or the 5? It goes on both of them, and you just made it positive. Negative divided by negative is a positive. So where does the negative go?
Well, it could go on either the top or the bottom.
It can go on the top It can go on the bottom, it can go on the middle. But if the fraction is negative, what can you not do? I can't put it on both. Now make sure you listen carefully. If the fraction is initially negative, because your slope might be negative 2/5, the book isn't going to write it like this. They're not going to write it like this. They're going to, every mathematician, they're going to write it like this. In order for you to do the slope, you got to move the negative either to the top or the bottom. It's your choice. So it's either down 2 right 5 or up 2 left 5. Either one. It's not negative 2 over negative 5 because the fraction was, and a negative divided by negative is a positive. Change gears. However, is the fraction positive or negative? So this one can be written as, no, that would make the whole fraction negative. What's a negative divided by a negative? So this one can be written this way. One last time. If the fraction is negative, put the negative on the top or the bottom. It doesn't make a difference, but don't put it on both. However, if the fraction is positive, you can't put the negative. Why? Negative divided by negative is a positive. Negative divided by a positive is negative. Positive divided by a negative is negative. Why do you need to know this? Because the slope is either going to be positive or negative. If it's negative, you got to pick which one you want to put it on when you do the graphing. All right. Hey, is the fraction positive or negative? Where do you want the negative to go? Top, okay. So it's down 1, right 3. Y-intercept is negative 2. You told me I'm going to make it negative 1 over 3, so I'm going to go down 1, right 3. Down 1, right 3. Do I want to do it the opposite way? The opposite of negative 1 is? The opposite of 3 is? So from this point, instead of going down 1, I'm going to now go up 1, but I'm going to go left 3. 1, 2, 3. You do this wrong, you don't get a straight line. You'll understand what your mistake is. It's because I'm trying to do it with my. Okay, cool. Last one. What's the y-intercept?
0.
Rowan's going. Do you see that the y-intercept is 0? So your first dot is going to be right here. Kaylee, I still can't read your face today. You have a no face. Is that a no or a yes? A tired face? That's why I can't read it, right? Your tired face is your I don't understand face as well, too, right? Do you understand this? Okay, good. What's the slope there, Kaylee? Other way around. It's not 1 over 2, it's 2 over 1. So we go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, or we go down 2, left 1, play connect the dots, you're done. Questions? Hey, they're going to try to sneak on you a horizontal and vertical line. Horizontal or vertical? See what I mean? See how easy that is to screw this up? Most of you probably don't have this memorized. It's got to be on a resource card for test day. Horizontal, vertical. So clearly you don't know. It's horizontal. I'm just going to say you guys don't have it memorized. That's probably where all Algebra 1 students are at. By the time you get to junior, senior year in high school, you will have it memorized. But for right now, it's troubling. It is a horizontal line that goes through the y of -3. So there's y equals -3. As opposed to that, which is a?
Never.
As opposed to a, what is that? Horizontal line. Therefore, it goes through an x value of positive 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's vertical. They'll still throw one of those at you to, could you graph multiple points? Okay, well, let's see. Y equals -3. This could really be written as y is equal to 0x minus 3. We just choose not to do that. So the slope is 0. That means it's horizontal. Okay. All right. Any questions on the two things we did today? All right. Somebody go grab the worksheets. They're over there. Rowan? Worksheets.
Time's it.
We got about 4 minutes.
Can you pass out the tests?
That's what I'm gonna do while he's passing. Yeah. But thank you for reminding me. All right, where's Tucker's? Tucker. Why did I say Tucker? And I'm thinking of Porter. I do miss Tucker. I wish he would email me or something. Porter, I do have your test somewhere. I did grade it. Maybe I put it in here. You did fine. Oh, it's the first one, duh.
I got a B. I thought.
What'd you do? Oh. My soul's in your eyes. According to Harley, you did.
Let's see what Chris did on the test.
Oh, not good.
How'd you get?
I don't know. Probably do.
I'm not doing it right now. I can't. I will start Friday class. I'm not moving.
What's your grade?
It's not today. It's almost Friday. They make me go. Not okay. Already enough stress because I want it to be Friday already. They're giving me hope.
Well, at
Imagine.
least once we get through today, it is Friday.
I don't like it. I'll be optimistic.
And I saw the one you're talking
May I go get water?
Once I hang out the test.
Oh, okay. That's scary. Don't look at it. Oh, no, I already saw the grade too.
We're not.
No, we're not.
I told you I didn't answer.
I would have answered that.
I know that.
86.
Don't ever take a test in red.
Okay.
I graded. So,
You get
55 out of 92. Woo!
what is that? With a G?
Probably.
That's like half one.
No.
Whatever. I'm grounded.
You get, bro.
I work hard and I get grounded in the chair.
It was close to a C though.
Oh my God, I'm passing. Higher grade than me. I'm still passing. That's nice. Higher grade than me. You got higher than me by 2 points. I was not prepared.
I said that.
To be honest, I'm not prepared. You know, C is good.
So at one, splitting
You gotta shake.
pages and how it's able to work.
Oh, no, I got a 60.
Rowan, where you at?
Bro, you barely got higher than Rylan.
I got a B still.
A B.
I got a B on it.
I got a C plus. Well, you probably got like a C
He didn't give us graphs.
63 and the
He
90.
didn't give us graphs. Like that song. He really likes the by Danny Pete like
You didn't wake up the whole time.
So you know the whole thing. His name is
Danny P.
He did more. He had a country rap song that I do.
What do you mean a country rap?
He did a country rap.
Adam on a bikini.
Was it like this shooter?
All right, anyone live today? We're just handing back the test. No one is live, so we'll end it right there. If you have any questions, send me a chat or email.
His dad was